Here we go. Wrapping up this final show of the week as we take a look at what's happening on Saturday at Santa Anita. Great card. I think you're going to want to play the late pick five for sure. Let's get down to business and get started with the Unusual Heat Turf Classic Stakes. Saturday, mile and an eighth on the turf course. It's race number 5, and you've got 8 runners in the field. Hey Jesse to the inside. Deep closer Mike Smith, Sean McCarthy. Okay, mile and an eighth. I can see this. Mr. Disrespectful has some speed, has not run on the turf often, but each time that he's been on the turf, he's been very successful. 2 for 3 on the turf course. He'll be part of the pace for sure. None Above the Law, coming off the layoff for Peter Miller. Deep closer, needs a setup. Freeport Joe, deep closer, needs a setup, coming off the layoff. Stop Digging, third off the layoff. Presser, Raider style horse, but, doesn't really have experience going the distance. But I still think that they're going to figure early on. Call Me Sir, Mark Glatt, closer, probably going to be the favorite with, might be the second choice with Juan Hernandez. Stamp My Passport, has some speed. I don't think they figure they're a long shot. Vodka, Trouble. In a couple of ways. First off, they've got some speed and some class. And it's Kent DeSormo. And if Kent decides he wants to win the race, you're in trouble. This horse has a great running style, and I expect them to be in the mix from beginning to end. That's how we take a look at the field. And now we've decided, boom, we're going to go inside, deep closer. Hey Jesse. Hey Jesse is a runner that's going to be making the move from off the pace. I like what they did at a mile and a quarter, 2 starts back. And I think that performance definitely figures in here. I also like they've won at a mile on the turf course. They've been competitive at a mile and a 16th. Then they win a mile and 3/8. So I think this is going to hit them right where they want it. And I think they'll get a decent enough setup there. They can be a deep closer, but I don't think Mike will allow that. I think they'll be close enough. And if they break, this is one of those races where if you see a horse like this break on top, and then the rider has enough common sense to take them back easily, this horse will win. I like the horse quite a bit. Hopefully we get a good ride. I think we will for Mike. And we'll move on from there. That's race number 5. We go to race number 7. This is the Cal Cup Oaks. Anytime you see the word Oaks, that's them their 3-year-old fillies. Gonna go a mile on the turf course, and you see you have a field of 8 runners in here. Crunchy to the inside will kick things off. Coming to stretch out on the turf for the first time, taking the blinkers off for Ryan Hansen. Tiger Lady has stretched out on the main track, goes to the turf for the first time as a closer. I don't know what she's going to do late. Also, deep closer is C. Drew, and has been successful. Did break the maiden first time out for Dan Blacker. 80s, probably going to be part of the pace. They've already stretched out on the turf course and been successful. Too Sassy, definitely part of the pace. Has decent pedigree, the daughter of that's got that Munnings on top. So there's turf pedigree there, and they've already scored sprinting on the turf. Cecilia Street, versatile, proven on the turf, room to improve. Cashed, never been on the turf, but it's Doug O'Neill, the daughter of I'll Have Another. There's some little bit of turf in there, maybe, on the bottom with the Shackelford, but mainly speed for Cashed. And Final Table Lady. Speed, been on the turf, not really that impressive. So you've got runners in here with some things to prove, right? And room for improvement. That's where we're going. Cecilia Street. Able to score on the turf 2 times already. So because of that, she might end up being the favorite. But either way, I think she has the best chance to win. And I don't think we'll get great value, but we will get a check mark. And that's kind of what we're looking for, right? Moving on. Race number 8 on the card is the Cal Cup Derby. Anytime you see the word Derby, that's 3-year-old colts and geldings. Of course, these are all bred in California. My boy Stan to the inside. You know what? Putting the blinkers on for the first time, and they've got some natural speed. They'll probably be forwardly placed in this. Sammy Davis, clear speed. Start the ride, closer. Smoothin' Saturday, closer. That's proven. Undefeated for Michael McCarthy now. Almost there. Yeah, I can see this runner doing some things on the main track as they make that transition from the turf to the dirt. Ocean Bear, another runner I can totally see making something happen for George Papadromo, and they'll be making the move from off the pace. John Metcalf Has a little bit of maybe some speed, probably going to be more in a pressing, stalking spot, but is proven going a route of ground. Even though the horse hasn't won, right? I like the way he's run going a route of ground. He's just a matter of time before he breaks through. Can't help myself. Closer and Pavlovian, another one that's probably going to close. Fianello, definitely going to close. Cruise home, proven closer with that deep stretch at Los Alamitos. So it's a pretty interesting, I think, a wide open race. I think there's a lot of things that can happen, but I find that speed is always dangerous, and Hector Berrios knows what to do with this runner, Sammy Davis. They are going to gun out of the gate, and if anyone wants to go with them, good luck. Now, there are some other horses with some speed, but I don't think they're as quick as this runner, and I also don't think that they need the lead as much as this runner does. This runner is an all-or-nothing runner, and at a mile and a 16th, if they gun out of there, no one's going to go with them. And they might go a little too fast, but we've seen this happen time and time again where a horse goes a little too fast, but they just don't have enough to catch him. That's why I'm going with Sammy Davis. All right, and then we're going to wrap it up. They've got the Sunshine Millions concept still happening there. It's the Filly Mare Turf Sprint. This is going to be race number 9, 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. 9 runners in this field. I like it. Prancing through Paris. You know what? She's got a good chance coming off the layoff. She'll be sitting in a nice spot. And she's performed well going down the hillside course in the past. That's huge. Tequila and Therapy. Here's another runner that this one's going to be turning back. And they've run on that hillside. They haven't been able to win just yet, but they haven't been embarrassed at all. They definitely figure for Doug O'Neill. Grand Slam Smile, speed, and has been very dangerous going down the hill. So the thing about the hillside course, usually, back in the day, we used to love route speed turning back. So if you were going a mile on the turf and showing good speed, and then they moved you over to go 6.5 down the hill, we loved that. Because down the hill is a little bit difficult, a little taxing, and that route speed was useful because you needed that speed and stamina for that distance. Grand Slam Smile is that horse. If you go back and look what this horse did running on the turf course at Del Mar, going a mile and showing speed, then turning back to the 6.5 and showing speed and just barely losing. So Grand Slam Smile will be in the mix. Going deep, same situation, speed, turning back. Sneaker, you know, this horse is kind of a presser or raider, and this is the horse that actually beat Grand Slam Smile when they turned back in distance. This horse sits just off and makes a nice run, has been successful down the hill, puts the blinkers on. Tina Turner, speed, has already scored going down the hill at Santa Anita. That is valuable. Moment's Pleasure, runner that's going to make the move from off the pace, has not been successful down the hill at Santa Anita. Take another card. Here's a runner that is turning back in distance and is going to close. They can be somewhat useful on the course. And Issa Court, horse has some speed, has yet to win going down the hill, but has speed to offer. So with all these things happening, right, you've got a little bit of everything where I feel like there's some speed in here. There are some horses that are kind of proven to be able to get it done. But what I'm going to do here is go with not only a horse that I think is in the right spot, but a rider that I don't use very often. Umberto Rispoli obviously is a good rider. I don't use him very often, but I know he's good. What I don't get from him is a combination of value and a good ride. So we'll see if I can get any value here, and I hope we'll get a good ride. This runner has yet to go down the hill on the hillside course going 6.5, but I like this runner turning back in distance. I think they'll be able to handle it because they've been going a mile. I think they'll be in a good spot, and I think they'll get enough of a setup here that they won't have to be doing a whole lot of work in the stretch. Take another card is going to be the selection in the Sunshine Millions Filly Mare Turf Sprint. And, you know, I think we're in a pretty good spot. So I like what we're working with for the weekend. That's 4 selections, 4 races coming your way. I suggest you play the late pick 5 and the late pick 4 on Saturday at Santa Anita. Great chance at some value there. All right, that's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, we'll see you here. I'm Ken Rudolph. Do me a favor, good luck, and enjoy whatever you are into.